What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 10 of the Rocky Road Podcast. I'm Trey, joined here by Rhett. And you know we have a great episode coming to you today, but we can't start it without asking, what's the jersey of the day?
Today's jersey of the day is Chris Paul, Phoenix Suns City Edition jersey. This is one of the most famous City Edition jerseys that the NBA and Nike has rolled out. They introduced this jersey 2020, 2021, and then they had it for a couple years. Then Phoenix ended up having like two more City Edition jerseys, and then they brought it back this year because NBA City. There's a fly on my mic. But NBA ended up their whole thing for City Edition jerseys was a retro and throwbacks. So they brought it back this year, but this is the jersey that they went to the NBA Finals with Chris Paul against Milwaukee when they had a 2-0 lead. Yeah, and then basically got reverse swept. And I want to say in all their home games, which they would have played 3 home games, they wore this jersey. And we wore this court. It became their home jerseys for about 2 years. And I would say I will put this up with the Valley jerseys and Miami Vice jerseys. 2 of the best city jerseys NBA that ever.
It is one of my favorite jerseys, but Chris Paul is also one of my favorite point guards ever play.
Yeah.
Shout out 2017 Houston Rockets.
Facts.
We should have won it all, but somebody wants to be injured.
27 threes. Well, no, y'all had Game 7. Rockets had Game 7, but the hamstring didn't help.
Thank you. But when I think about Chris Paul, and the one thing I did know is when he was on the Rockets, he holds his teammates accountable a lot. Like, to the point he was yelling at James Harden a couple times.
He yelled at James Harden and like slapped his hand.
Yeah, and I was like, hey.
Don't touch my goat like that.
Yeah, don't touch my goat like that. Don't yell at James Harden like that. He can do no wrong.
Yeah.
Well, can do wrong this weekend. But
yeah. On your birthday too.
On my birthday. Arrested on my birthday. Somebody said, quick side note, somebody said James Harden finally got caught for carrying. I couldn't help but laugh. I was like, that's hilarious. But it made me think about when you told me you was wearing that jersey, how Chris Paul, but how Paul used to hold the churches back in the day accountable for their actions and what they did. And some of those letters were
Corinthians. So I remember my first time reading 1 Corinthians. I'm thinking to myself, what in the world is going on? Because he's like going in on him.
He's not holding back.
No. And then I ended up reading it the second time. And then I was like, you know what? It's actually not that bad. But then I recently reread it again, probably a couple months ago. And I was like, oh my goodness.
So try to summarize 1 Corinthians real quick.
The Corinthian church was so bad that he had to step in and tell them everything they're doing wrong. And then he ends up writing 2 Corinthians to actually tell them, oh my goodness, you're actually doing good.
Yeah.
But you still are sucking it up, so you have a little bit more ways to go.
Yeah, I know we send each other some reels sometimes.
Yeah.
Some stuff that some churches, no churches are perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, Paul could probably write a letter on the church we go to.
Yeah.
But some churches are just...
I sent you today.
Some churches are outrageous. Yeah. And I know Paul would have went crazy in them letters. Like, some churches, and we figured this out when we went to Atlanta. I don't know the name of the church, and even if I did, I don't think I would say it. But we were driving through Atlanta, and it was our first night there. And we're just looking around with a bunch of people been to Atlanta. We're looking around. And then we see a church. And we're like, oh, cool. And then we see a bunch of pride flags and be who you are and stuff like that. And we're like, hey, that doesn't correlate.
Yeah.
Then we actually ended up looking it up. Mm-hmm. And their mission statement, it was like, we accept everybody. Yeah. And like, be who you are, this, that, the third. Was like, hey, that kind of contradicts a lot. Like a lot. And Paul definitely would have. Dude, imagine the letter Paul would have.
Yeah, he would. I think about those churches, because I've been to St. Louis, and it was kind of one of the suburbs of St. Louis on their main street. They got 3 churches right next to each other. And you're thinking, oh my goodness, this is great. 3 churches right in the center. Every single one of them, Pride Month, this, that, the third, and be who you are. We accept everybody, and you're just thinking like this goes everything against what the Word of God says.
Yeah.
Even in Cleveland, I mean, a beautiful church. It has like one of those big steeples, beautiful architecture. And it's like right in the middle of downtown, like front and center, and it's got filled with it. And you're just like, how we're not reading either. We're not reading the same Bible, or something's different. Something's
I don't
off.
know what translation y'all got.
Okay, yeah.
But the one I was raised up on and the one I read says no to all this.
Yeah.
And I know me and a couple of buddy of mine, we went to Chicago not too long ago, and then there was some churches that it wasn't the Pride Month thing, but they were preaching the exact. It was like they would read the Bible, but okay, the Lord tells us to do this. Let me preach the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Okay, don't take care of the poor and the widows and all that. Like, look after yourself. Do what you want to do. And I'm like, hey, that's literally like, we don't got to spread the word. And I'm like, hey, we do. Like, he calls us to do it 55 times.
Yeah. I went to Birmingham, and that was like my first church I went to where I was like, hold up now. Are what you saying really true? Because he would, like, the main part of the title of the message was minding your business. Which is already funny enough. Yeah. And, like, I understand where you can say, like, hey, you got to take care of yourself first. But it was to the point to where it was like, even if this person is holding you back so much, you got to drop them. Yeah. Which, granted, I think there comes a time when if they're not helping you lead you to the Lord and stuff, then yeah, that's when we talked about that either last episode.
Tune in.
Facts. But I lost my point. But you can't. But so he was saying like, hey, if they're holding you down so much, just drop them. But I think at the point with those people, that's when you've got to start uplifting them. Yeah. You got to start discipling them. You got to find a way to shepherd them through whatever they're going through. God, Lord doesn't tell you to just get rid of somebody just because they're not benefiting you, whether that be financially, physically, or they're just hurting you, or they may be causing you a little bit more stress. Yeah. That Lord doesn't call you to dump them then.
Just because there's a little adversity in the boat. Don't. Yeah. I know had someone who was telling you a story, I was going to go with it, and I completely lost track. I know for sure this is what I was going to say. But that's where I feel like a lot of church hurt comes from. And I have my own stance on church hurt. I've told you about it. Yeah. But I feel that's where a lot of church hurt comes from, because a lot of people go to these churches that might be that are a little lost in the word and in the message. So then they get church hurt from that church, and now all churches are just down in the ground, bad. Christians are horrible. But it starts with one church giving everybody a bad look. Yeah. Just because this church in New York might not have been preaching the gospel correctly. Now you're coming down here to Alabama, and you're saying all churches are bad, church hurt, Christians are horrible people, and it's like, you can't. I'll be careful how I say this. I don't think you can categorize all churches after only going to one church.
I agree. I think like the mega churches, a lot of people have their views and stance on how the modern church works just because they see the big churches in Houston or Birmingham or mega churches. They see how they run their things and they think this is how every single church runs, which is not the case, But those mega churches definitely do give off a bad rap on how churches do. And I don't know like a bunch about the mega churches, but I do know like some of them are doing good. They're not they're preaching a true gospel. Like I saw one in Cincinnati. I thought they did something pretty cool during their Super Bowl halftime show. They had like the two preachers
I seen that
go against each other, and they
Yeah.
had like a halftime. And like I thought, like
Yeah.
that's actually pretty cool. And I didn't hear the messages, but
Yeah.
I would prayerfully hope those messages were convicting, straight to the heart, straight to the point, because
Yeah.
the gospel is convicting. It's when we did that study, last July when we came up here, it was those two dudes talking the entire time.
Oh, when they would start off in the truck and
Yeah.
the dude have his arm out the window.
Yeah, they were just horrifying. They were,
Factual.
but he categorized the gospel. The gospel is good news for bad people.
Yeah.
We're all bad people. That to tell somebody that you're a bad person, that should hurt.
Yeah.
Should hurt you.
I know a lot of I used to dislike mega churches altogether. Like that's why you go to a mega church, you're not a Christian. Like forget you, that's fake. But 2819 church.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this was for 2819. I think it's
Philip
in
Anthony, Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta, Philip Anthony Mitchell. He preaches a great
I love his sermon.
yeah. And he gives it to you so straightforward. He doesn't sugarcoat it.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of times I watch little clips of his sermon and there's people getting up and walking out when it's a tough sermon. I mean, some people can't take the truth.
Yeah.
And then their worship there
Mm.
is like
Mm-hmm.
of course it's a huge church and they have like a whole production and all
Yeah.
that, but their worship there is like no other, and I love tuning into their worship. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one of the churches I can say. Someone told us sometimes you can tell how good a church is by their success,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a church that has huge success, but it's like every sermon there's a bunch of people getting up and walking out because they can't handle the truth.
I think we had a guy come in here and he's asked the church, like, how do you measure your success? Are you measuring your success based on how many people you're filling up in your seats, or are you measuring success by how many people you're changing internally?
Yeah.
And I think that's one of those churches where you would much rather, or Philip Anthony Mitchell would much rather you be changed eternally than you come in and feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
Because I know some mega churches in Houston, Joel Osteen, Kenneth Copeland, those mega church guys, they're there to preach a sermon to you that makes you feel good, that the Lord loves me, and which he does love you, but makes you feel good, and if I do this, that, the third, he's gonna give me all this money and all my life's gonna be good.
Trust me, that's not.
And
the
then
case.
whenever they bring up like, hey, if you're a giver and you've been blessed by getting more money from the Lord, raise your hand. And the Lord can do that, yes, but if that's the only reason you're giving, then that's wrong, because Jesus says it. The person who has a lot, and let's say he has $1 million, but he gives $100, big offering. But the one who gives $2 and he has $5, that offering means a lot more because of his faith.
Yeah, I know. There's a story in scripture about that in the Bible. I can't pinpoint it, but I know exactly, because my grandma. Shout out my grandma. She used that as an example. One day she gave me $10 to go into church, and she was kind of testing me. And she was like, all right, you put however much you went into the offering, and you get to keep the rest. And it was in all ones. So I was like, the $1 in here, taking $9 to school for a snack cart. You know, I'm chilling. And then, lo and behold, we get in the car, and she's like, all right, how much you got left? And I'm thinking I'm smart. I'm like, Grandma, I got $9. I'm finna eat good. And then, slapped me in the face with that scripture. It was like, you had 10. And then she later told me she was going to give me another 10 if I would have put the whole 10 in there. And I was like, what a lesson. I could have been up 1,000. But I decided to be a little greedy. But, I was young. I was like elementary school, I think first grade. So
every elementary school would have did that.
I thought about putting nothing in there.
Yeah, but that's what I thought you were about to say. You wanted nothing.
I know my grandma would definitely had her way with me if I
Yeah.
did not put at least $1 in there. But we were talking about mega churches, and it made me think. A little funny story. I was on IG Reels one day.
Mm.
It was around Christmas time, and one of these mega churches had like the Nutcracker showcase, and like they're streaming it, and they're like, "Oh, this is our Christmas production." I'm thinking it's fake, like maybe AI, because I seen the ones with like water fountains and water shows on the AI churches. But it was like real, like a real church,
Yeah.
and they're doing a Nutcracker, and they got people on like not zip lines, but the harness things
Yeah.
going up, and they got
Doing
like,
backflips.
and I'm like, so what? So when do we get to the
When do we
worship
learn about
part?
Jesus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone's in the comments like, "Oh, I wish my church did this. I wish my church did that." And I was like, "Yeah, but that's not really
Mm.
what we came to church to focus on."
Yeah.
I know our pastor or our pastor at the time, he said, I think he said about Easter. So he doesn't call it Easter.
Mm-hmm.
He calls it Resurrection Sunday, because that's what it is. What it is.
Yeah.
But he said he asked his granddaughter what was the difference between Resurrection Sunday and Easter. And he was like, when I say Easter, she thinks of bunnies and chocolate and this, that, the third. But when she thinks of resurrection, of course, she thinks about Jesus and
Mm-hmm.
dying for our sins and being all, like all that. And then sometimes when we bring both of those in the church, we kind of lose the focus
Yeah.
on what it's supposed to be about.
Yeah. I think like VBS does a great job of like balancing
Yeah.
that, in the sense that you keep Jesus in the center, but you're still having some of the, I guess, glamour and some of the
Yeah.
fun and stuff. And especially for the kids, I mean, you gotta find a way to
Yeah.
make it entertaining. So I think VBS does a great job. Like Lifeway, they're the one that kind of makes the VBS
Yeah.
package. Like, I'm sorry about
That was-
Illumination Station. Join the celebration. Jesus, He is the
Light of the world. There we go. I was
Yeah.
gonna let you fight through it. But no, VBS was a blast, and it does keep Jesus at the center. Because me as a 23-year-old man, I mean, you was right there with. I mean, we're doing the dances and all that, but through it, we was glorifying the Lord. Facts. Perfect.
Perfect.
That was my thing.
Yeah.
But like, we're glorifying the Lord. But I was with the second grade boys,
Mm.
and I was going through to the Bibles. To the Bible classes and the crafts, and we were having a blast while glorifying the Lord. And it was just, even when we went to go eat, they would have dinner, and it'd be like pizza or something. But for dessert, I'm trying to think of one. I know.
Didn't y'all have like, not brownies, but like a Hershey? Y'all made like a stick man one day, didn't y'all? It was like
Not
a
sure.
marshmallow.
I know we made a snail with like
Yeah.
a Swiss roll.
Mm-hmm.
Forgot what that was supposed to. It was a cricket. We made a cricket, but I forgot what it was supposed to represent. But it like L memory by me. But like even in the meal, they were finding ways to glorify the Lord. Like we wasn't just there eating lunch. We were there to glorify the Lord. And the rec, I wasn't really around rec that much, honestly. So
They
I
just
can't-
let them play.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
But Bible, crafts, worship. I mean, they did a line dance.
Yeah.
But it was through glorifying the Lord, and the kids had a blast. I know all the leaders had a blast, and it was all to glorify Him.
I had a blast until I rolled my ankle playing.
Side story, real quick, and just to make sure this don't go too long. Rhett got cooked by a kindergartner.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
say kindergartner.
A kindergartner in Gaga ball. First off, he lost, and then the kid made him roll his ankle.
It was the ball's fault. The ball was too squishy. If the ball wasn't squishy, I would have just went off like this. But
No.
because the ball was squishy, it went down.
All right, let this be a reminder. Excuses are like a nose. Everybody has one.
And then the kid laughed at me.
I would have too. He just beat you. You a grown man. But I hate to say this because I hate doing this segment. Do you have a word of the day for us?
I do have a great word of the day. I've been hearing some people, they've been saying, the word of the day, you can't really use it in a sentence. Well, first off, I say you need to put yourself in those conversations to have them in a sentence, like antimisigo. Like last episode was old and ancient, was very antimisigo, old and ancient.
I don't even think you're pronouncing that right.
Okay, the first time I said it, it sounded good.
I'm gonna go back and watch it. I clipped it.
For real?
So yeah, I'm gonna go back and watch it.
But today's word of the day is interminable.
Interminable?
Interminable.
Use it in a sentence. I think I can define it. I think I know this one.
Today, the meeting seemed interminable.
That was a horrible sentence. I don't know.
Fans endured an interminable rain delay before kickoff.
Long.
Yeah.
Another word for long. There we go.
It's like a long, if you seemingly endless, going on for so long, it felt like it would never end. And the reason I chose this word today.
Oh Lord.
So I got to work today, and I was told to trim the hedges,
You had a bad time trimming hedges?
No.
Okay.
This is the best part of my day.
Okay.
Trimming, I actually had a lot of fun trimming them.
I told you.
I was seeing the progress, and I was like, this is fun.
I told you.
But I knew I was gonna have to help somebody take this van to this shop to get it fixed on.
Yeah.
So then, whenever I seen them come in, I was like, all right, bet, because I knew we needed to go ahead and go.
Yeah.
So talked with him for a bit, and he told me what needed to be done. So I got the keys to the van. Get into the van. Everything's good. But the van won't start up. And then now I'm realizing, this is why we need to go. We need to get the battery changed.
Yeah.
I open the door. I see 3 wasps. One here. Like, they're like surrounding me.
3-man weave. There we go.
Yeah. And I froze. I was scared I was scared.
Survival instinct on 0, by the way.
I froze. And then I finally realized, all right, these wasps are staying here. They're not leaving. So then I closed the door. I end up running. While I'm running, I get stung by the wasp. So now my shoulder's killing me. Now my shoulder's killing me. So I go back to the guy. I tell him what happens. He's like, I'm holding my shoulder, and he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I just got stung by a wasp. And so, but I ended up getting his truck, pulling it up. And then I have to get back in the van because I got to pop the hood.
Round 2. Go get your get back.
Yeah. So now I got my wasp spray, and I'm peeking around the van corner.
Oh, my Lord. This kid went to Rainbow Six Siege.
And then I opened the door. Nothing happened for like a good 5 seconds.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, phew, 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 they start coming back. And this is when I ended up getting the other van, ended up spraying the other van, ended up running away. Or no, I ended up freezing again. And then the guy, he's on, what are you doing, Red? Run!
Instinct on 0.
So I ended up passing him the wasp spray. He ends up killing a wasp with his hat.
There we go.
And he ends up finding the wasp nest. It was in the door of the van. I don't know how I didn't see it. But that's not even the worst part. Because now we got to open the hood. And there's another wasp nest.
Yeah, y'all should have just left the van. I would have left the van at that point.
And then for some reason, I had the spray pointing towards me. So now I'm fighting for the spray to like turn it around. And then next you know, 5, 6, 7 wasps flying out everywhere. And then I ended up giving him the wasp spray again. Well, I ended up, the hood ended up closing because I got so scared. So then we had to do it all over again. Open the hood back up. So yeah.
So
and then we ended up taking it.
What does that have to do with the word of the day?
My day was very interminable. And that's not it. And then, so we ended up taking it to the place back. Ended up going back. Ended up getting some Waffle House.
That'd be Waffle
great
House.
time.
Yeah, great eats.
He got a chocolate chip waffle. It looked so good. It looked good. And then, so then my day gets good. You know, I'm chilling, not doing anything because they're voting today. There's nothing for me to do when they're voting. And then I get a call saying, hey, you need to go to this person's house to try and see why why their toilet won't work. I'm first off thinking, I don't know how to fix the
I was
toilet.
gonna say, you know nothing about it.
Yeah. Next thing you know, I get over there, and then they say, hey, you need to crawl underneath the house and see what's going on. So I crawl underneath the house, and granted, I'm trying to like, not military crawl, I'm trying to like bear crawl.
Yeah.
But I keep on hitting my butt.
You got to get down on your stomach. You just got to.
Yeah. I realized that.
Shout out JROTC for teaching me.
And
that.
then there were some worms. I was scared of worms. I'm scared of worms.
Fun fact, Rhett is a city boy at heart. Like, Rhett is not a country boy. Me, love the country, love the dirt, love some. Rhett's a city boy. So he doesn't do all the worms and no.
But we couldn't find a leak. We couldn't find a leak anywhere. So I ended up going back to the church. And then I get there, and then he says, hey, we're just going to go back. So I'm thinking, all right, we're just going to realize this is a lost cause. We don't know what's happening. And I'm having to get back underneath there again. Yeah. And then I had to go farther. And I was.
That is a very long day. Interminable.
There we go. And then I went home and went to sleep.
W day.
While they fixed the TV. Other people fixed the TV.
I did not do anything like that today. No work.
How was your day today?
I did nothing today. I'm waiting to start my new job Thursday, so I'm off. So I slept all day, got up, worked out.
You got to.
Came here.
Dubs.
That's how we do it. Mm. But we appreciate y'all for tuning in to episode 10. We have a huge surprise coming to y'all next week. Next week, Friday at 6. So make sure y'all tune in. Go follow the TikTok because y'all will get a sneak peek of the big surprise. So go follow the TikTok at the Rocky Road Podcast. And we'll see y'all next week.
Facts. And everything y'all do, strive to be like Christ.